Warning. The following episode contains moderate spoilers about the films Leprechaun, Leprechaun 2, Leprechaun 3, Leprechaun in Space, Leprechaun in the Hood, and Leprechaun Origins. The It's All Been Done Presents network does not necessarily share the opinions expressed about Lucky Charms.
Welcome to Marianne's Macabre Movie Review.
Welcome, everybody. We're in the start of our Leprechaun marathon. We're going to do 4 movies. So we just started with the first one. And today we have with us Andy, Dave, J. Keith Jackson, and myself. And we might hear an extra female voice. That's Angela. She's just going to pop in whenever she wants to have something important to say. But other than that, that's who we got here today. So let's get started, shall we? What did we think? We'll just do a real brief,
general feelings
about the film. Let's start with Andy.
Wackier than I expected. I think I watched this movie last in maybe 2001. So it's been quite a while. And basically I just remembered that Jennifer Aniston was in it and that the Leprechaun was in it. And, it was whack. I don't know. It was fine. It was it was a little bit, it kind of maybe padded out its runtime a little bit.
Definitely.
I'm with Andy. I haven't seen it in a while. I remember, rewatching it. I remember most of it. When I was thinking about, once we, determined that we were doing this, I was thinking about it, and I remember, I seem to, for some reason, remember it trying to be more of a legit, horror movie. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why I remembered it that way. I kind of equated it with Child's Play a little bit. The first one was trying to be a little scary, but this one, watching it now, I don't think that was their intention, but I don't know. I kind of don't know what they were trying to go for, if they were going for more comedy or what, but I don't know. It was silly, Warwick Davis, you can see his charisma come out in the movie, and that he's definitely a star. So, I mean, he makes the movie. The rest of the acting was pretty bad. Aniston was fine. It's one of her, I don't know if it was her first movie or...
First movie, it said.
Okay, yeah. But she was fine. You can tell she had some kind of qualities to her.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I don't know. Whatever. It was funny. It was fun, to watch with a bunch of friends.
Yeah.
Especially Rachel.
God damn it.
So, a couple things I was going to say that, I have the exact same impression. I don't know if I've ever watched any of these straight through, but for some reason I felt like I remembered it being supposedly serious or something. At least more serious than that. Maybe I've seen pieces of The Hood or something, or the other ones. I don't know, but this is, I think, way too wacky for my taste. A little too...
Yeah.
I think buckle in.
Yeah. It's the wrong kind of wacky for my taste. I think you mentioned that it was supposed to be a kids movie. They just kind of tried to go back
It said the movie was originally planned to be a scary kids film, but the studio thought it would work better as an adult horror, so inserts were filmed to increase the gore and the violence. So I think we can figure out where the inserts were and where the regular scary kids film was.
Yeah.
Roller skates.
Mm-hmm. That kind of makes sense now, because the first death in the movie is the old lady falling down the stairs. And that's how she dies.
Yep.
She just falls down some stairs because she got scared by seeing the leprechaun. There's no gore. And I actually thought about that when it happened. I was like, that was pretty... And I was thinking, is this a PG-13? Mm-hmm. And, but yeah, man, then later on, they really ramp up the gore with some of those deaths.
Yeah. So, I don't really know what their target audience was for this, because... certainly a little kid can't watch this movie.
What would a comparable movie have been had they done it that way all the way throughout, though. I can't even think of something.
Which way? All the way?
Like the more
Disney version?
kid-friendly,
I would say something like Witches, or
Maybe.
What was the other?
like Hocus Pocus or something like
Yeah,
that.
that's what-
Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
Witches is. The
Oh yeah,
one
with the
that-
mice. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of it, he's like singing little children's songs and stuff like that, but then he goes into like, you know, his mayhem and bloody killings and all that. So I don't know. I don't feel like they kind of had an idea of who they were, you know, what their audience was for this movie.
The way it kind of works, though, it's almost like the fact that they changed it as it went along kind of works for it, because it's like he ramps up in his frustration about not getting his goals. So
yeah, for sure.
I agree with everybody else. Is that it was? Cause I saw this in the movie theater with my father.
Huh.
And
So how old were you when you would have seen this? It came out in what, 90?
it came out in '93.
Oh, 93.
And
Oh, wow.
So
It did, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was
90.
1990, yeah.
So I was probably a senior in high school at the time. So I
Okay.
obviously didn't find it scary because I didn't remember anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't even remember the wackiness of it. Watching it now, I found myself just laughing at it. It was supposed to be funny, but it was funny in a way that
It was funny because it was not
it was
funny.
funny because it wasn't funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted them to hit the Leprechaun puns hard, and they didn't.
They don't do that till later on.
We
Like,
got an oven pun, and that's it. I mean,
yeah. They,
You'll get that.
oh, yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, good.
Like-
That's what I'm waiting for.
Like who? There's a lot of honey puns or whatever the hell, you know.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of bong rips.
Warwick Davis started reading from the trivia. Warwick Davis started to regret making the film, but when many people ended up loving the movie, it spawned 5 sequels, and now it's one of Warwick's favorite movies. It's like, yeah, I got 5 sequels out of it. That's money right
give me
there.
the cash, yeah. And so, I'm sure he loves that, but...
So at least a couple things I think we need to address.
Mm-hmm.
The first one, let's do the serious thing. I think that the trivia mentioned something about there being like 100,000 copies sold.
Yeah,
I don't know. I could kind of see that being
just
that-
100,000.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
Dave has one. Dave has
Well-
a copy.
I do.
oh, well, that's
Yeah,
2.
and- yeah,
there you go.
yeah, see?
That's 2.
Yeah.
But I
So it
don't
should
know.
be 20% of the U.S. populace based on this sample size here.
I mean,
Yeah, I feel like 100,000 is kind of low. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder when that data was taken.
yeah,
Probably, the first
First
day
day
of
of VHS
1993.
sales, yeah.
That's
I guess it's
gotta
hard for
be.
me to conceive of what that would constitute. I mean, like how many households that would be exactly for, well, I guess 100,000 households, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. 100,000
How
seems
that's-
low,
how
but
that's
who
spread out
knows? I
over-
mean,
Sorry.
you think kind of the
You know, people
cult classic it's become. You'd think maybe
some
Right.
people
more
might
than that.
rent instead of necessarily owning. I don't know.
who rents stuff anymore? I mean,
But now it's streaming, and
Mhm.
like there's like this window of I don't know.
But it's been out since 1993, so I mean,
Mhm.
25 years.
Seen it
so.
once, and you probably don't need to see it again, or
Oh no,
unless
I
you're
don't believe
people
that.
like us.
Yeah.
I think Keith's right though, because I feel like we
Mhm.
still
Right.
buy physical media,
Yeah.
but we're weirdos,
Right.
And
Yeah.
It's like a cult niche thing for people to say that they wouldn't actually need to own the movie in particular as opposed to having seen
hmm
it.
yeah,
No, even owning it, we have a surprise. Well, but you owning it have a surprisingly different memory of what the movie actually was. I mean,
Yeah.
in the sense of
I think I mostly bought it because it was like $15 one
Right.
day, and I just got
For
the
all
itch,
of them,
yeah, and I
yeah.
just got the itchy trigger finger.
right.
Yeah.
And, like,
I think it was during the Halloween marathon.
probably,
Yeah.
yeah.
hmm
So yeah, there have been a lot of weird Mandela effect kind of things coming up, especially for horror movies for me lately, where I feel like somehow I convinced myself that I watched these movies at some point and just no, I don't remember them at all.
I feel like if you see a trailer enough times
Mhm.
20 years ago,
Yeah.
your memory
You feel like
eventually is like, I saw that movie.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And then you only remember the parts from the trailer.
Yeah.
When you rewatch it.
It's like, I don't remember this Robin Hood movie being so weird.
So, the other part
Where's
was
Brian Adams?
the Lucky Charms.
How did you know? Yeah, that was the other thing I was going to bring
Okay,
up.
go ahead.
No, that was Lucky Charms.
Okay, so Lucky Charms
Ugh.
was a sponsor.
That too.
And, okay, Dave, please discuss. Why?
I can't eat Lucky Charms because the marshmallows are hard and they taste like chalk. And I get goosebumps if I think about even trying to eat these things because it's like biting into a stick of chalk. I have to let them soak for 15 minutes before I can eat them because they're soft enough to eat at that point.
Okay.
See, I told you we blew it. I mean, it was gold on the couch, and
Ugh.
now it's just like, oh well, we already knew.
So yeah, so Andy's line for this when this originally came up on the couch was, "What is your water not fluoride?"
And see, he doesn't
I
think it's
use-
funny now.
I use milk on my cereal, not water.
But
Must be malt.
You can use water, it's not going to hurt anything.
Lucky Charms,
Craig.
they got permission to use Lucky Charms in it, and then they saw the movie and they're like, "Fuck no, no, do not take our name out of this." So they changed the name of the box to Lucky Clovers, and then had Warwick Davis eat some of them and spit them out. And then at the end of the film, since we're doing reshoots anyway, let's reshoot the last line, which was originally supposed to be
The last line as he's killing the leprechaun.
as the kid is killing the leprechaun. Your luck just ran out was what it used to be. They changed it to "Fuck you, Lucky Charms."
Oh, it's way better.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
This should have been the line even if they had gotten the sponsorship.
Yeah.
They should have risked it for that line.
So,
That's what you get.
what else did we didn't like in this film?
I like Fuck You Lucky Charms. It feels like up there, like among the upper echelon of like ending lines like "You're terminated, fucker," and stuff like that. I really feel like it holds its own.
I had forgotten how egregious that would. I mean, at the time, I just that's fine. The you're terminated fucker, the things like that.
She says it with so much anger that it works.
Yeah, you're right. Just
That's a different podcast. I'm going to bring over my Terminator box set.
tonight. Let's actually watching Terminator next, and
Yeah.
then Insidious, and then
Yeah.
We've got a lot on our plate here. And Andy brought this up, and I was thinking about it too. I loved all like the different modes of transportation the Leprechaun used. He had roller skates and a wheelchair and a couple of different cars
And a
and
little tiny like kid's car.
a tricycle. He started out with a tricycle, and I love that they like put it in fast forward motion whenever he was to make it look like he's going faster.
Yeah. So
But then he could also transport whenever he wanted. So why even use it?
Yeah.
So, that.
Wacky.
Yes.
yeah, I think the fence outline when he crashed the fence and let the leprechaun shaped outline. That's where I was.
So it's
done.
like those are the pieces
nope,
that you
I
would.
can't do it.
Those are the pieces that you would see like in a kid's film.
Yeah.
But no kid should see this movie
No.
under the age of 13.
No.
I don't know. Maybe we should do like a social experiment and I should like show it to my
Expose children.
5-year-old nephew.
Yeah,
See what
yeah.
he thinks.
I mean, nowadays, I
It's
don't
like-
think it's as big a deal as it would have been when we were growing up. But
Sure,
There are
certainly.
boobs in this movie, so
It is
Oh.
just have an R rating, so I think that's maybe for the gore factor.
gore and a couple of F-bombs here and there,
It's
but
true.
not even.
This is probably like a 2017 PG-13. Or
Yeah.
2018, I guess, is where we are now.
Budget
Yeah.
is budget was $900,000 for this.
Oh, okay.
Opening weekend was $2,493,000.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
Making money.
that's probably equivalent to like an $8 to $10 million weekend now.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks, let's give our ratings. Do we even need to work with scare factor with this one? I mean,
I don't think so. I mean,
let's
it's
just
not
do
scary.
let's do entertainment value. Keith, why don't you start this time?
Man. I can't even think of like numbers at this point. It just
Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Oh,
10.
yeah, those are numbers. All right. No, just I can't even think of how to quantify it. I wasn't.
You want someone else to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I forgot something. I wanted to say how much I love Warwick Davis. And I still do, and I think I had the biggest crush on him from Willow. And I went to this Leprechaun movie thinking I would see a beautiful Warwick Davis, and got Leprechaun. So, yep.
It's an extensive makeup job.
They do that's one good thing about it, is they do a very good job.
You can see where the money went.
Yeah.
$899,000.
We can nearly afford Stephen Baldwin for a movie.
4, because it was entertaining.
This is like your overall...
Overall, yes. This
okay.
is just
if you combine scare value and entertainment value.
Yeah, because there is no scare for this. There weren't even jump scares in this. This was just...
Oh, no. He kept coming out of small things.
He did.
Yeah, he would
every time anybody opened something, like a refrigerator. Or
that's like the anti movie now, because now they try to get you by doing that, and you open a refrigerator, you expect to see something behind it, and nothing.
Yeah, like the scene in Insidious. Open up a suitcase, nothing.
Yeah.
Behind the suitcase, nothing.
Yeah.
Open up a suitcase, nothing.
This one, he's popping out of everything.
Now, yeah.
It's gone the other way.
Refrigerators,
I wonder if at some point, culturally, it shifts back to everything's and everything.
Yeah.
It's going to need to.
They didn't even sell the jump scares. It was just...
Yeah.
There wasn't allowed noise to punctuate it or anything.
No. And the cameras would, follow the hand closely opening, so you knew that something was going to be there.
and even the music wasn't even tense enough to do it. The score was okay, but yeah.
I feel like they just set some background music to go and just let it go and didn't even worry about matching it up to appropriate scenes.
It felt like...
Or the beginning where you said that Warwick Davis doing an audio track and just left it running.
Yeah.
And that's one thing, another thing I forgot to mention was, the first shot of the movie is the Leprechaun.
Yeah.
In most horror movies, they try to hide that type of thing until at least halfway through the movie.
He's not even obscured in shadow.
No, he's
just
him in
full makeup.
Hey, I'm the fucking Leprechaun.
Sit down with a pot of stuff. And
he's saying, this is my gold, steal it, I'm going to come after you.
That's where the money went, right there. They needed a real crock, some coins, and just...
actual gold coins.
Well, the first shot of Jurassic Park is famously a Tyrannosaurus Rex in full light. So, because they want you to know where those millions went.
He's like, hey, look at the buckles on these shoes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Look at these shoes, man. He's just...
So, Andy, how about your score?
I would rate it 4 pogo sticks out of 10 bitten off ears.
All right.
Oh, delightful.
Our favorite catchphrase to use now is Andy's gentleman's three.
I was going to say it.
He gave us for Kayako.
Yeah.
Oh.
A gentleman's 3.
We're going to give it a gentleman's 3.
I don't even remember saying that.
Yeah.
You said it on the way out the door.
Yeah.
What's your rating? I'll give it a 4.5.
Oh, Dave wants to fucking marry this movie.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. It's fun. I mean, it is what it is. It's fun. I'll put it right in the middle.
Yep. Gentleman's 3? Is that what you're going with? Because you definitely did not like it as much as we did.
No.
Keith is like, wackiness! No!
Gentleman's 3.5, I would say.
Angela, what would you give your score? Because as soon as this movie ended, Dave was like, "What'd you think?" She's like, "It was boring."
Yeah, I thought it was boring. I'd probably give it a 2.
Yep.
2?
Okay.
Yeah. I just thought it was really boring. I'm like, is it over yet? It's just the same thing.
Yeah.
I think I did. I'll say that I think I had a couple of genuine laughs. Not
Yeah,
necessarily because of it's funny because it's not funny, or they're doing this thing where it's just a really overly cheesy thing. But
There's a couple of times, so you're saying there are a couple of times where, like, what they were going for actually connected with you?
I just,
No. Okay, all right.
I'm not sure. Yes and no, but I mean, it's,
Okay, I get it.
I'm gonna knock mine down to a 4.
Right.
4, I say
There
4.
were some
And the writing was terrible.
Well, there were some lines where we did laugh with Jennifer Aniston's dry humor, where she was just like,
Yeah.
she would come out with these lines where we were like, is she riffing? Is this ad-libbed? Or is this actual...
I didn't catch that. Or most of what I was like, Francis, his character,
Okay.
just some of the things he was saying, it was like, I can't believe that somebody wrote this out for him to say.
Yeah, he
like
was basically just like a child in an adult's body, and the kid was his caretaker.
Yeah.
That part was weird. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, folks. Well, we'll see you for. Are we doing Leprechaun
3? Las
Three.
So
Vegas.
skipping 2, huh?
Skipping
Yeah.
2. 2 is
Forgettable.
yeah,
Let me. Can I say like the one thing that everybody needs to know about 2, just so we don't.
yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
So the premise of 2 is that a long time ago, the Leprechaun, who's dead now, by the way, the movie ended and he's dead. Leprechaun 1, he died. He's dead. So I don't know how he came back, but anyway.
No, we heard him voicing over at the end,
Yeah.
saying, my soul is going to dwell, and I'm going to get you anyway.
Because I'm in the well.
I'm in the
'Cause
well.
He did a little rhyme at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel a lot better now.
Okay.
As far as I remember, well does not come into play, but 2 starts off in Ireland in like the 1800s, and a father has promised his child as a bride to the Leprechaun in exchange for money, and so
Thanks, Pops.
so the Leprechaun's gonna get her if she sneezes 3 times and nobody says God bless you. so she's like, it's like she's about to like turn 18, and like there's this night that's like it's all like written in the stars and prophesized, and she sneezes twice, and the Leprechaun's standing there and going, "Oh, it's gonna happen." and then right as she's about to sneeze the 3rd time, her father he just can't bear what he's done, and he says, "God bless you, my child." and then the Leprechaun's like, "No!" And then he has to like go to sleep for 100 years, and he comes back and chases down an ancestor of the child bride that he was promised to.
Delightful.
So that is Leprechaun 2.
Wow. Okay, folks. We'll see you for Leprechaun 3. Welcome back. We're here with Leprechaun 3. I barely got through this one.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I just rolled my eyes so many times. I'm surprised it didn't roll across the floor. I still fucking love Warwick Davis, though.
This one was worlds better than the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, whether or not you would say it's a good movie, there at least was consistent.
Consistent how?
The tone was consistent. It was clearly meant to be a horror comedy of some sort, not meant for children.
Yeah.
There were some surprisingly, I thought, humorous, like purposefully comedic performances by some of the other supporting actors in it. So,
Voice actor, yeah.
yeah, Fazio, the
Fazio.
magician, even the loan shark thugs. Just that little,
The little exchange thing.
yes, their banter for things.
Yeah, this movie, unlike the first one, fully like understands what it is.
Yeah.
It goes for the comedy and it goes all out for it. Like Warwick Davis talking in rhyme the majority or limericks the majority of the time. It's, I don't know, for me I think it's a fun one. It's, it knows what it wants to be and it goes all out on it.
Mm-hmm. So John DeMita is the voice actor that Keith and I know from like Resident Evil Vendetta and a bunch of other things. Who knew he was Fazio? I mean, if I had known, I would have watched this like many years ago. This is a reminder. I'm Marianne from Marianne's Macabre Movie Review. We've got Andy, Dave, Keith, and Angela here. Review. I'll start this time. Oh dear. I enjoyed the film to a point. I love Warwick Davis. I love the rhyming. I didn't realize he was going to rhyme the whole time. I guess I figured. I don't know what I guess this is new since I've only seen the first one, so can't wait for the space one.
Andy can.
Yeah, I would say better than the first one, definitely for me.
I have a sense that this whole thing so far has not been what you were expecting, and you're becoming more and more regretful as we go through.
Well, I really think this for horror movies. This is one of the main, people that have sequels over and over again. We've got Freddy, we've got Jason, we've got Mike Myers. I think Michael Myers.
Yeah, we kept doing that last time. I was listening to the Halloween one, going. We're not. Yes, we're not that informal with them.
I know him
with comedian.
He told me I could use his first name. I think Dave knows him well enough also that he can use his informal short Mike.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Wayne's
So
World.
Freddy.
I mean, if he didn't like it, he would have come and done something by now, I'm sure.
Right. So this is one of those things where, you have to see the Leprechaun films to truly enjoy them, and I am getting that full taste of them right now. I'm leaning a little bit more towards Angela's boat, where I'm like, yeah, I can't see myself doing four movies.
I just don't get into it. I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, I don't know. I guess the Leprechaun's just not a favorite of mine, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get into it.
You don't like his rhyming?
Yeah, I mean, that was okay.
I wish for the home audience, you could just bottle Angela's facial expression for you during most of this current recording up until this point. Just, but Marianne started off, I think, pretty enthusiastic about doing this, and somewhere during that second movie, this last one, it was, we could do just one more and stop if you guys want.
Well, Angela's not enjoying it, and Andy has to leave after the third movie, so
We'll see.
So
it's not that I'm not enjoying it. I just can't get into it. I'm just kind of like...
You're
Okay.
indifferent towards the Leprechaun?
Yeah.
we will power through all four if we can, but we'll figure this out. We'll do this. We'll do something. It's only 5:00 now, so we got plenty of time.
Okay.
And we got plenty of food still.
They are good in that they're not... Unlike a lot of modern horror, they're not like... Maybe they are overstaying their welcome, but even so, they're not doing so at more than 85 minutes a clip or so.
Yeah. As much as I loved Rob Zombie's Halloween, that was a long-ass movie.
Yeah.
They're long, yeah.
And it's like, Jesus, give me 90 minutes of a good horror film and I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
You could have made Rob Zombie's Halloween into 2 movies. Just the prequel part and then the haunting after his sister part.
Yeah.
Could have edited it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
What do you guys... When I was preparing for this, I asked Andy and Dave, which ones are your favorites? Which one should we watch? Because they are the experts on it. They said 1, 3, 4. And...
Either one of the first Hood movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
are we doing Hood or Space?
Space is next.
Space is next.
So that's 4.
4.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And then Hood is,
Okay.
and then
5.
Back to the Hood is 6.
And then Origins.
which we've all actually watched.
We've
oddly
watched,
enough.
and we need to discuss that. We'll discuss that at after we finish our whichever movie we were watching last.
We watched it years ago, to clarify.
Yes, we watched it when it came out because we were really excited because Hornswoggle, WWE's Hornswoggle, is in it, and little did we know he was not going to be harsh.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we did watch it as a double feature with See No Evil 2, which was much
Infinitely better.
So
Infinitely
good.
better.
We need to do a podcast on that.
Sure. Yes.
I think we should probably watch it. Maybe we should watch them both and then.
Yeah.
Tonight.
Yeah.
Tonight.
Everybody has to have it tonight.
Okay, so please share with me why this is one of your favorites. Andy and Dave, I'm talking to you guys.
I just think it's funny.
Start saying words.
I think the Leprechaun character has embraced what he is.
Mm-hmm.
He talks in limerick, talks in rhyme. I don't know. I enjoy it. I just think they're funny.
Mm-hmm.
He cracks me up. I don't know. I don't really know how much further I can get into that other than I think it's funny, and it finally kind of realizes what it is and goes all out on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think 3 is the perfect balance of what I want out of a Leprechaun movie and what a Leprechaun movie is meant to be. It's like, it kind of comes together. I go into a movie like let's say like The Strangers, like a home invasion movie, wanting like a lot of foreboding and a lot of relatability and things that can take me out of my comfort zone and scare the hell out of me and make me think bad thoughts late at night when I'm trying to sleep. I just want Warwick Davis to look like a goofy little monster and make puns and have fun and have a nice, like, kind of relatable hero to root for, and a hot heroine girl who's with him, and a funny comedy relief character like Fazio the Great. Mm-hmm. And, this movie, it kind of checks all those boxes.
All those things,
yeah.
So, I guess I'm trying to pinpoint why this movie made me grumpy.
I think you still wanted there to be some sort of horror movie. Or something like an actual, like a...
Well, they did...
A serious, scary thing.
Where was that thing where I was like, that's horror? I can't remember what it was now.
Well, I mean, they did gore, certainly.
Yeah, there was one scene where I was like, that's pretty horrific. The cutting in half was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fazio's character is that he's a magician.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's supposed to be like, I don't know, what are the two guys?
Siegfried and Roy.
Siegfried and Roy.
I
don't
he's
know.
More like
a
David
one-man
Copperfield.
Siegfried and Roy. I don't know.
No animals, nothing like that. It was just, it was a very. It's actually
working at a bad casino too.
Yeah.
Let's be clear. Like, the casino was bad.
It's a very stereotypical sort of low-level magician.
Yeah.
Trying to get better.
Well, I think the other part of it was I read the trivia ahead of time, or as it was starting, and Lee Armstrong, the female lead, left Hollywood directly after this, and that makes me feel bad. Because I feel like I feel like this movie had something to do with it.
But like Andy said, she had reached the
pinnacle,
the peak, the pinnacle. Yeah.
Let's not assume the worst about that.
Right.
Let's maybe she was saving up for a semester abroad, and then this movie got her there, and then she went she went to Paris to study cooking or something.
Yeah, and what were the movies that the hero, the main guy, wrote? Kong Skull Island, Flight.
Yeah. Nominated for an Academy Award for Best Screenplay. For
Flight.
So I mean, Denzel Washington movie, so he's done well.
Yeah.
Power Rangers movie.
Yeah.
Well,
you got to pay the bills.
Yeah.
A Milo Ventimiglia stunt double too.
Yeah. He did look very much like him.
Of Gilmore Girls fame.
Yeah.
Let's get it clear. It's not a Heroes thing.
Right. I think he looked more like him in Heroes, is what I'm saying. Like for his first season Heroes, he looked like him. The hair and the mouth thing.
The mouth.
The sneer or whatever it is. Gaping.
Here's something that is kind of genuinely unsettling. Because I saw this movie for the first time when I was like 12 or 13, and having never known a woman's touch. And so when the fantasy girl comes out of the television and crawls all over the sleazy casino owner or manager, and then she turns into a robot with boobs and wires everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty horrifying.
Yeah. Kept the hands, too, just to pin him down with the hands. Like, test of strength. Just kept him...
So I think that's probably the most unsettling imagery in the whole movie.
Yeah.
I would say.
It's like something out of Westworld.
Right.
Yeah.
That song and a half bit where you actually open it up, that was pretty bad too for me.
That was pretty good, yeah. I like that. I thought that was entertaining because because he's doing it in front of a full audience. This is an actual like magic show, and you expect the normal like cutting in half of a magician, and you get an actual cutting in half.
Well, the fun thing about that too, not just that, the setting in general for the Leprechaun character was that nobody questioned the existence of this person dressed like a leprechaun running around.
Yeah,
it could be anybody.
Yeah, and even when the loan shark guys are coming around, he's the leprechaun's just standing on top of the table shooting craps, and they're like, they
Sir, can you please get off the craps table?
Yeah, exactly. They didn't judge. They just said, this guy's cleaning up here. We got to get him out of here.
So that didn't occur to me at the time. But this is the thing that I always ask whenever I'm watching like a creature-based horror movie. Like, why do people, in most other cases, jump right away to, like, zombies or whatever, jump right away to, oh my god, there's this thing coming after me, as opposed to, like, there's a person dressed like a monster here for some reason. Whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, weren't people screaming, going, oh my god, there's a thing coming after me. It's just some guy.
To be fair, that does happen a lot in zombie movies, initially.
Sometimes. The good ones.
Like, something's wrong with Rachel. She looks weird today.
Yeah. The good ones. I mean, the more realistic kinds of things, you don't just immediately jump to, oh, there's an alien.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I feel like in this movie, some people believed it was a leprechaun. Like Fazio was like, okay, kid, you want to see a magic trick?
Yeah.
Poop in the hand.
Yeah.
But what was the other one? The kid called down, there's a leprechaun here. And they're like, yeah, right. And it's like, we've seen him already in the actual casino.
Was he calling the police or the
security?
Oh.
Security.
That is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you mean the guy dressed like a leprechaun?
Yeah, they just refer to him as the leprechaun.
Yeah. There's also something very surprising about the movie that we were talking about as it went on.
Oh.
The progressive message. What year was this?
95.
Jeez, just they really laid into the healthcare industry, and it's pretty.
Game what for?
pretty damn topical.
Yeah.
Like today, even just they had the loan shark saying, "I wish for free healthcare for everybody in the country."
Yeah,
and they had the hospital scene where the doctors were asking, "Oh, this is a life or death question. Do you have health insurance?" And then they found the cash and were like, "Okay, well, what kinds of procedures can we?"
Let's give this guy 2 extra EKGs.
Instead of just pocketing the money for themselves.
Yeah.
Do it legitimately.
Give it to the hospital first.
Yeah.
Well, they don't need to. I mean, that's what we're saying is they can just, it'll go back to them eventually is the implication.
Yeah, like some kind of kickbacks.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed that little bit of social commentary that I'd never picked up on before.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do our. Do we have any negatives that we had about this film?
Apart from it being a leprechaun movie, that's I think within the constraints of everything, it was probably better than it had a right to be. But
filmed in 14 days.
Filmed in 14 days. I think that's going to raise my scoring, just because holy shit, we saw Jack Frost. And that was filmed in 17 days. 17 or 18 days. I can't remember exactly. And was like...
They had to bring the snowman to life, though. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's true.
They had to rig the oven mitts up to the fan.
So, what would we give our ratings for this film? We can give a gore factor because there was definitely a lot more gore in this one. Did you get squigged out with this one a little bit?
A little bit.
All right. So
the eyeballs and things like that. Just
2 for 2 on eyeball ripping, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what Leprechaun 2 had as far as eyeballs getting taken out, but 1 and 3.
We've been usually doing like scare instead of gore, but I mean, if you want to switch out that number for that or whatever,
I think we've got to, because it's definitely not scary. I mean, this is a horror podcast, Macabre podcast. So scare is not always part of that.
Mhm.
I mean, like the ghost things we've seen are not horrific. They are, give you that squeaky feeling.
Mhm.
So
Like Lenny.
you are you are our person that is grossed out.
Oh, yes,
Of
if
here,
we're doing
of everybody,
that, yeah.
of everybody here. I know I'm not. I have much higher tolerance than you when it comes to stuff like that.
We've
I know. Discussed this, so
I
you
know.
can't be like, well, honestly, I really just do it just for show.
What was that?
that was you, Bean.
Yeah, okay.
Me.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Acting.
Yeah. It does. I mean, maybe like cringe a little bit and want to turn away a little bit, but I mean, just, again, it's not like oh my God, I'm horrified. It's just, oh God, that's gross. So.
Gross is part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 1 to 10, grossness. How often did you turn away? 2, 3, 4 times?
Maybe twice.
Twice.
The eyeball and maybe a little bit the
Chainsaw?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When they pulled apart the saw it in half bit.
Oh, okay. So
5-ish.
5-ish. Okay.
Gore factor. I mean, I never turned away or anything like that. I'd say maybe a 3 or 4. I would say maybe for the time, 1995, that could be considered a fairly gory.
They did have that woman get duck lips and
yeah,
exploding
yeah.
fat.
She wished to be sexy again, and then she
got her wish.
She got her wish, and then the leprechaun turned it back on.
And took all her hair away.
Yeah, took all her hair away. But I mean, I don't know. Like as of now, 3 or 4. So I mean, not too high.
I mean, if the scale is like Psycho on one end of the spectrum and like Hostel 2 on the other.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like it's probably like equivalent to like a Night of the Living Dead. So like I don't know, like a 4.
So let's go back to when you saw it when you were a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say your virginal touch?
So I'm actually like much more squeamish about gore now than I was as a child. Yeah.
It is. I swear, something like that. I did this little parabola thing where it's just certain. Yeah. I got really accustomed to it at a certain point, and then last 10 years or so, it's been gradually coming back. Where I'm just like, Yeah,
I think I got desensitized to it as a kid, and then like resensitized to it somehow. So I also I just don't watch as much like gory movies as watch as many gory movies as I used to. So I think that might be a part of it. It's less exposure, but I'd say 4.
Okay. I did not find it super. I mean, even with the gore, I'd say about 2 to 3 for me. Entertainment value, I would say 5 because it was good. There were parts where I was like, Jesus, one more rhyme, I'm going to rip my eyes out. But other times, I was
make a boot of your ears.
There once was a man from a trass
whose balls were made of brass. But there were times where it was enjoyable, and there were times where I was like, screw it. So yeah, that's why I would give it a 5. Dead in the middle for me. Keith?
I might actually go as high as a 6 for the social commentary, surprisingly, and it's. The characters were surprisingly funny.
Okay.
Yep, I'm with Keith. I'd probably say a 6.
So, I was sitting on a 6, and then I thought about the part where he asks her so innocently if she's ever blown a rod.
Oh,
and that bumped it to a 7. And I was comfortable with the 7, and then I thought about the limerick where the waitress asks him about all the potatoes he's eating. And it ends with, and she dined on penis au gratin. And so, if we can do half numbers, then I'll say 7.5.
All right, so it went up.
Oh, yeah.
Alright. So
The balloon rods got it up a full point.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they only got it up half a point.
okay,
Yeah.
so
Actually, I think I'm going to add a half a point for the for Fazio's burglary.
Oh,
And leave
yeah,
with the smoke bomb.
Yeah.
Still standing in the doorway to do like a little head fake as he left.
As no one watches.
Yeah, just like, God.
I did like the double take from Warwick Davis when the other leprechaun guy walked in and like announces with a rhyme and then he's like double take. It's like,
Yeah.
okay. So all right. 5.5
Okay.
for the double take and Fazio. How about you?
I'd probably give it like a 4 or 5, 4.5.
That's much higher than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Did we chalk you higher? Is that what it was?
I don't know, now you guys are like talking about the other stuff and I'm like, yeah, I kind of remember that and it was funny. As far as like the gore stuff, the only thing I thought was gory was like the guy getting cut in half and when his toe got bit off.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, so like the guy from Argentina plays the Indian guy with an
Yeah.
overblown accent.
As you do.
And
That's
doesn't
what it
even
was.
look Indian
Yeah.
either.
I like the word David said he liked spicy Indian food that when you get
Christ.
it. Oh, the leprechaun.
And that's where we like, besides the accent, like, hey guys, we're hitting you over the head. This guy's supposed to be Indian.
Yeah. They wanted to make it known.
Mm-hmm. Okie doke.
I do think that Fazio as a character, had he lived, who could have successfully been spun off into like a low budget Showtime type series of that era.
It almost gave me like a Job Bluth kind of thing.
It's an illusion, Michael.
Yeah, it just the character kind of like that almost. Just,
Yeah. It's very similar in some ways. Oh my god, I wonder if Will Arnett ever saw this movie.
Okay, so
Leprechaun 3, everybody.
Leprechaun 3. So
7.5. It's a consensus.
we are now on to Leprechauns in Space.
Space.
Well, hello guys. We're here for Leprechaun in Space. Leprechauns in Space. Leprechaun 4. We're all still here, barely. I think everyone is now drinking. Keith has now finally surrendered to drinking after that movie. While I was watching this movie, I entertained myself with the IMDb page. Tina crawls through the air ducts, where her red pants get torn off by Dr. Mittenhand. Tina spends the remainder of the film in a t-shirt and black panties, much to her sexual humiliation.
Was that?
That's an exact...
Oh, this is the review.
No, this is from the synopsis.
So, who is it? Like the studio wrote the synopsis, or what?
It's IMDb, so I think someone else writes it.
It's very accurate.
So,
did she seem humiliated to you?
She did not.
Okay.
No, I think for all of our sexual humiliation.
I was good with it.
Tagline that I wanted to read during the film, but Keith would not let me because we wanted to save it for the podcast.
I wanted a genuine reaction from everyone.
So, one small step for man, one giant leap for terror.
Oh.
What?
Terror.
I liked mine better.
Dave, yours was better.
Yeah.
Can you please repeat yours?
One small step for man, one giant lep for mankind.
Man.
Missed
That's-
opportunity.
What? I don't
And he was
understand.
giant at one point.
Yeah, it's like
so...
right there.
Shit.
So, the review by Scarlett Caulfield. She gives it a 7 out of 10.
Whoa, Scarlett.
And
Hello.
says, and the title of it is exquisite.
Whoa,
Okay.
exquisite.
First of all,
Yeah.
I like your hand gesture with the thumb and forefinger, like writing calligraphy. Exquisite.
Exquisite.
Secondly,
Wow.
she doesn't preface it like Gentleman 7. It's just 7.
So, Leprechaun 4 is that rare film that takes you to a place you never knew existed. In this case, it's the world of everyone's favorite leprechaun who has somehow ended up roaming around in space and decides to terrorize some unexpected travelers. The acting is horrendous. The special effects are ultra cheesy. The story, well, what story?
Yeah, this sounds like a 7. Yeah.
7 out of 10.
And that is why this film is so great! Exclamation point.
Oh.
My favorite part of the film is the decline of Dr. Mittenhand. It creates parallels to life of one man, his struggles, his torments, and his eventual transformation into some sort of demented spider-human hybrid. Who hasn't dealt with this in some trauma and those same pains in their own life?
I remember when I turned to a spider.
When his
Whose
metamorphosis
pants did you rip off?
is complete, he declares his new identity in the heart-wrenching line, I am no longer Mitten Hand. I am Mitten Spider.
What? I missed that one.
It's a true milestone reached in cinema. And of course,
Wow.
the leprechaun represents the antagonist in us all. Big Evil comes quite the small package. The leprechaun, in his quest for his gold, is simply a puppet of capitalism and corporate greed. I think we could all learn a big lesson from this little fella. To summarize, I'd give this film a 7 because it's slow at some points, but the occasional leprechaun in the pants scene redeems it all. Bravo!
I mean, I agree with the pants scene.
So under the Benjamin Buttment gives it 10 out of 10. Don't compare it, just have fun with it. So let's crack into it. We just watched Leprechaun in Space. What the fuck did we just watch?
Leprechaun in space.
That was a trick question.
Yeah, trick question.
I just subbed you. So I think we should start with Angela.
No.
Would you say that?
No, go ahead.
Would you say that there were some slow parts?
Yes. Yes, lots of slow parts. I feel like the story didn't even make sense. I have no clue till right now, like what the heck even happened, like what the point was of it.
We
I
had
agree.
2
Yeah.
separate, distinct films.
At least.
Does anybody want to recap where they got this story script from?
Alien.
Yeah, well, no, the actual Apollo 13 with the leprechaun's face.
No, yeah.
Someone.
Whose story was? Who said that? Was it you or
Me.
Dave? Huh?
It was from the page. The script came about when someone, when Apollo 13 came out, someone took out Tom Hanks' face and replaced it with the leprechaun. And
right.
someone was like, yes.
Yeah.
That's a movie.
Movie. Greenlit. Right there. So.
You can have $1.6 million.
Exactly. The budget for this was $1.6 million.
I think they snorted all that up their nose.
So when we came into this film, Keith and I were the tiebreakers for this because Dave is pro Leprechaun in Space.
No, he's not.
Andy
I think I'm pro Leprechaun in space, like Andy is pro Halloween Resurrection.
Well, I think Andy likes Halloween Resurrection.
I don't believe that for a second.
So,
I thought coming in that Dave, I thought he was overplaying a little bit, but I thought that I believe that he did enjoy Leprechaun in Space. And now, having watched Leprechaun in Space again, I don't believe it anymore. It's completely full of shit.
So,
That's probably accurate.
so there were scenes that I think I just died during because I just don't understand. They're like, okay, wow, we need boobs in this. Are you going to show your boobs? Okay, she'll show her boobs. All right, so
You're in.
how do we get the plot point into this? Oh, when she shows her breast, it means it's a death sentence. What? On
A
her
death
world?
worth
Yeah.
dying.
Well, then I don't
Oh,
understand because
the picture.
those 2 guys saw her boobs and they didn't die. Then.
It means they were going to be killed by the leprechaun.
Yeah, it's
He's
not like
right.
it's not like the ring.
Okay.
In 7 days, you die. Well, we don't know. I mean, it was only like 15 minutes later.
That's
so,
true.
Yeah.
So if 7 days from now,
If
she
you
can
watch-
come out of a TV.
If any movie goes on long enough, everybody dies, right?
Yeah, true.
I was under the impression it had something to do with her culture, like
Yeah.
her royal court or something would kill them because of that or something. But
Yeah, it's like the mafia kiss of death thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what I.
I
that's
show
what
you my
took it as.
titties, you die because
Yeah.
someone's gonna kill you.
I loved it.
And then the
I thought that was at least funny.
the
Yeah.
girl's getting Tina getting her pants ripped off, so she's in panties for the last 20 minutes of the movie.
I mean, I guess it's
I
not
feel like
like
it was that long, but
yeah, it might not have been that long, but I even like in the last one we watched in Vegas, that one girl was in
Yeah.
that whatever outfit, her leather
The whole
outfit
time,
for
yeah.
essentially the whole time. So
Speaking of which, I think that the budget was so high for this one to pay off her lawsuit. Actors from a previous movie.
So another part that was a little confusing was the leprechaun turns the one Marine guy into a woman,
like a cross-dresser.
cross-dresser for
A cabaret show.
a cabaret show, and then like totally commits to it. So even after the leprechaun's gone, he's
still in character.
He's still in character, like, oh dear, I'm gonna get you.
What happened to him? I don't really remember how he just.
The leprechaun did magic on him.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
like, did he die? What
He electrocuted himself with the rubber
Oh,
knife.
right, yes, that.
He had a bayonet all of a sudden instead of all
Mhm.
his other, advanced
Marines.
laser
Oh.
guns that he had.
Yeah.
And the bayonet had a knife at the end of it that was just like all over the place. And then he runs it into a light socket that's apparently in the middle
Something
of the
like that.
wall and dies.
Yeah.
He's just trying to get out of the movie.
In the disco, in the
In the
that was,
disco room
on their
that's in a
spaceship.
fucking spaceship. Because
There's a fire in the disco.
Which causes a panic at the disco.
So
It's
if we
danger,
can
Marianne.
keep this, I'm going to try and find the dance scene so I can put a little video of that up on Marianne's Macabre movie review because the guys dancing in it were top notch.
Oh, that too. The other thing
Yeah,
is.
just like wiggling around like fish on the floor. Yeah, we're dancing. Yeah, we're doing good.
I felt that watching this movie and seeing like the kind of the parallel stories develop, that some film school kid started writing a script about Dr. Mittenhand and all of his weird like experiments and his desire for to have a real body again.
I'm a robot and I want to
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
body.
And then at some point, somebody at whatever fly-by-night studio produces the Leprechaun film saw it and said, what if we jammed the Leprechaun in this? Because we've put out one of these movies the last 3 years. Maybe you could make a quick turnaround for us.
I think you're like right on the money. I hadn't even thought about it, but that's exactly the kind of fingerprint of something you see when there is no goddamn reason for this thing to be in this Leprechaun movie.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
far more elaborate than anything.
It seemed almost just like the original Alien movie to me, with insert Leprechaun instead of Alien.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that happened in the previous film that didn't happen in this film that we kind of all remarked upon was the last film he rhymed every fucking sentence.
Mhm.
This one,
Not once.
He would start it out like in a nice cadence, and you'd be waiting for it, and
Blue balled
and
every time.
then every time it'd be like there once was a man from Nantucket who had a nice trip.
Is it the same writer?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I doubt it.
Said had the same director as Leprechaun 3.
What?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a I don't
And
know.
No
the
way
thing
it's the
that-
same writer. I don't buy it.
the thing that bugs me about it is the settings were so fucking terrible.
Yeah.
They looked bad. Like, I don't know. Even as far as like the spaceship things, like they just looked bad. I don't know. It
It
bugged
looked
me.
like They look like what you would imagine the first pass of like a 3D model would be.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
just to get the form.
Okay.
Without putting any other layers
that's
on
it.
top of it.
They're like,
That's it.
done, good,
Yeah.
let's go.
Yeah.
Bring it in
Yep.
there.
This
Yep.
cost how much?
No,
all right,
we're
stop.
done.
I'm done.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. It's no, that's I think it's another good point. It's like for that budget. I mean, there was a lot of elaborate things they had going. I mean, it's the stuff probably cost a lot to do with. I mean, what we saw, just like they weren't managing it well or something. If that makes any sense, it's just like they kind of
Like they were snorting it up their nose.
yeah. It's you could see where some of the things they were doing could have been expensive, and then other things were just were like, well, here's a calculator. Yeah,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was talking to Keith about. I was like, "That's the same clipboard we have for our when we were. It's a metal clipboard that you can hold stuff in,
Mhm.
and she's holding it very cautiously towards the camera, so
The
you
back of it,
can't
yeah.
so you can't see what's inside of it, and she's like,
beep boop boop
beep boop 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 beep boop boop, and then she turns. And and Keith dies because he snorts bourbon up his nose. She turned the tiniest calculator we've ever seen.
It's like a little black Casio calculator. And,
Taped to the inside or glued to the inside of this
metal clipboard.
metal clipboard. I'm just like,
So my assumption with that is that it was a mistake that the camera that shot
Yeah.
made in the movie, and that it was only there so she would actually have something tactile to punch,
Mhm.
so she would have something to act against.
Yeah.
Ah, that's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
but
It's too hard to just pretend like
To
you're typing
mine-
onto the actual.
I guess it's also too hard
it
to like
kind of-
edit the film and not put that shot in there.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Something about the budget. I'm reminded of on the season 3 finale commentary of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Joss Whedon talks about there's a big fight at the high school, and he talks about they animate a big giant snake and all kinds of crazy
Yeah.
stuff happens. Joss Whedon on that track, he talks about how he had a budget for the season, and he was just trying to manage it all season long, and he knew that he wanted to do something really big at the end of the season, so he kind of scrimped and saved along the way, and then threw a lot of money at the finale. And with Dr. Handmitten's transformation, I kind of feel this movie did the same thing. They
Yeah.
had like one
Yeah.
decent looking finale set piece,
Yeah.
and they really. I mean, it was dumb, but it looked kind of cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But at least it looked elaborate, you know.
he looked like a creature from
Resident Evil.
The
The Thing.
Thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
John Carpenter's.
John
yeah.
Carpenter's The Thing, the one with McCready and testing
Mhm.
people's blood and stuff. So yeah, that one was just.
They
So-
also refer to the leprechaun as an alien, not as the
Yeah.
leprechaun.
They call him. It's actually in the trivia. Alien, monster, and bastard, or some combination thereof.
did they ever
Yeah.
even see the word leprechaun in the
I
movie?
know.
No,
No.
it is
That's
never
very
said.
interesting. It's like they didn't even bother trying to rewrite the script to fit him
They
in there.
didn't,
It's
they
just like
didn't
a-
even bring like the. They mention like the gold, but they never show him they never show like the space
Yeah.
crew
Spot gold.
taking his gold or
Yeah.
anything
They
like
do.
that.
They show him taking gems and stuff. Remember, they had that table full
Oh,
of
yeah,
stuff. They
yeah.
flipped it up, put it on the helmet, and then when the guy
a
died,
few pebbles of gold
Yeah.
are written.
they,
right?
yeah,
Right,
and then they
right,
shrunk
right.
it down.
But he doesn't
Oh.
like he doesn't make like a big deal
Yeah.
like he's going
Yeah.
after his gold
Yeah,
like
until
that.
like the last. 30
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah.
He
Like
starts
the
to
gold
run
seems to be a big deal for him, like intermittently throughout the movie, but never like.
That's like
It's
the
not
reason.
like his. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
He
like,
wants
I
this-
want my gold back.
Yeah.
And
like
this
it,
lady is his thing. He wants his queen now.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
That was just
Princess Death Tits.
Maybe because she was covered in gold glitter.
oh,
Hmm.
that could be.
Maybe
Yeah.
she ground up one of his
a
gold
good
things. It was
observation,
like,
You
yeah.
see, Marianne, that's the depth of the movie. It's like just like in whose life isn't that like the metaphor for the thing that you this woman is the thing you need because she represents the.
I'm
You
sure
own
they
the
were
bitch.
thinking that when writing Leprechaun in Space.
So, okay,
But-
getting back to the scene at the beginning where they're around the table with Laser Death Tits
Hmm.
and the leprechaun alien,
Hand
He-
quotes are just.
he
Yeah.
opens up a bottle of champagne,
Oh yes.
spews it all over the place. And then very next scene, they're drinking green things,
Yeah.
green
Out of the
green
cancer.
something out of a decanter. So
It is not bubbly.
As Keith has said in previous things, the Christmas podcast, was that just a metaphor for male erection and ejaculation? Or were the directors and the writers giving this an actual undertone of male virility? Or were they just
Well, I mean,
bad at opening champagne?
The scene was about like planning and conquest and like setting up like the royal future of the galaxy.
It's like popping bottles, like stop.
Yeah,
you know, it's like
I
a celebration.
I think it was also about busting a nut.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
It
so
could be two things.
a couple of things were nearly incomprehensible to me. Some of it, I'm sure, is because we were very distracted during certain parts of things. Little details of exposition were probably missed. So why were they going down there to begin with? Were they sent out? Did the king send them to find her?
No. So they were sent into space because the Leprechaun had been destroying mining colonies on like 3 different planets already. So they needed to go down and get this guy. He's probably mining gold. Who knows if gold's in other planets, but apparently it is. And so that's where he's amassing all his treasure.
Okay.
And he happened to find this lady.
Just coincidentally, she happens to be there when they get there. And they assume she's a hostage, even though for some reason she wants to use him for a coup against her father. And throughout this thing, they keep thinking she's a hostage, and at any point she could just say, no, I want to be with them or whatever, and she just doesn't for some reason.
Yeah.
And
she spends much of the movie unconscious.
Well, all right, there's that.
Yeah.
And then I don't understand why he saves her.
She gets the better end of it.
But then there's the death tit scene where there's all kinds of weird interaction she has with them that could have just...
I think they're just stupid. Like, I feel like she's the only one who has her shit together in this entire movie.
That I actually kind of enjoyed her. I don't know.
Yeah,
Something
I
about...
did too.
I liked them as a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they were pretty awesome.
Weird. I don't understand. Why did I like that? It's just I'm like punishing myself now, but why did I even like that part of it? But it's just... All right.
Who cares? But she survives, right? I guess.
Yeah.
We don't see her. She's not in the last scene, but she's alive.
Yeah.
Because she watches the alien get sucked out of the.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, out into space because the one.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
pulled her out of the room
she's
where
still
the
in there.
giant leprechaun was at.
Yeah.
Remember
She said, "Carry me."
Yeah.
And then he carried her out of the room.
She kind of flashed to look at the camera later and said something like the effect like, "Now I'm the one who's I'm long live the queen."
Long
yes,
live the queen.
yeah.
The king is dead.
She
Long
wins.
live the queen.
Yeah, so here we go.
So do you think they were planning on
Spin-off.
Lep 5 in space?
Oh.
And then they decided they needed like a more urban slant for the next movie instead, and she got cut out of it.
Oh,
Leprechauns in the hood. I'm actually, if people are up for it, it's I want to kind of see where they're going to fucking go with this.
I know I've seen pieces of it. This is probably the one I've probably seen more of than the other ones. Maybe I saw some of 2. That's probably one I'm remembering.
You've been saying this
I know,
all night.
I know.
But
I know.
I think
I know. It's the thing.
Again.
I know, but oh my god, yeah.
Okay, so what else do we want? What did we like about?
I think we covered Princess Death Tits. I guess that's her name.
Yeah.
That's what we've all agreed on. Yep.
Okay.
Even her bra, the pointy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered what we definitely didn't like about it. So, was there gore in this? I thought there was something that I was. The guy crawled out of the guy's penis.
Gore is expensive.
Yeah, but that wasn't even.
It was all implied, and I think
they don't show anything.
No, they don't show anything.
They were doing a lot of artful avoidance of things.
Very Hitchcockian of them.
Even
the falling,
of the girl
looked away as like you saw the leprechaun kind of wince, like ooh, she hit pretty hard.
You see her fingers let go from the ledge, and you don't even really see her fall too far. And so
Home Improvement's Debbie Dunning.
Yeah. Oh.
So then they also did.
God.
So they also, Dave gave Angela it's okay. I know it's real life. Like a nice leg tap. I know it's real life and I know it's fantasy. Just so you know. So, let's give our ratings. Then we're going to transition directly into the WWE Leprechaun movie.
Oh, okay.
We'll just do a brief, since we had seen it so long ago, we'll just do what we like, what we didn't like, ratings, done.
Oh,
I barely remember any of that.
So I do.
burned into her brain.
So I'll start again for the rating. I'm giving it a 3. It was definitely not as good as the other movie, as Las Vegas.
No, that is a true statement. I'm just like trying to think about how it would compare it to like Leprechaun 1, for example, as a basis of.
I mean, it's.
It's not a Leprechaun movie.
Right.
That's the
Right.
big issue, I think.
Yeah.
One more thing that I was thinking about while I'm sorry to break
go
up
ahead,
the. One more thing is, after this movie, they made Jason in Space, which was essentially the same movie.
Mm.
I mean, it looked terrible.
It made
I don't know
it made
why
no
it
goddamn
didn't
sense
work.
that
Yeah,
it was
it-
out there and
yeah.
I liked
Jason X.
Jason X. I thought that was.
It was
there were
a lot
funny
funnier, I
lines
think.
in it.
Yeah, I mean
that were meant to be funny too.
Sure, but I don't know. To me, I thought it was essentially the same movie,
Mm-hmm.
just with
With
Jason instead of the Leprechaun.
Jason
I mean,
with nanites.
Mm.
And
yeah, I mean, the like the settings and everything, like all look the same. They look
Well,
real bad.
Yeah, right. Because even the end, like Leprechaun gets big, Jason becomes Uber Jason. It's the same
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
I thought it was. I was thinking about it. It came up when I was, watching the movie, and it seems like the exact same
That's so
movie to
weird.
me.
Well, there's one crucial difference though, is that it actually is a Jason movie. They know who he is.
Yeah.
He is this thing, and this other is just like a generic alien that they're referring him to him as. It doesn't really have any Leprechaun properties
Except
necessarily.
dressing exactly like
Yes.
the character is dressed in
Right.
every other Leprechaun
Yeah.
movie, which
Yeah.
is like to me the weirdest thing. About it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like they couldn't even like get him a new costume.
Yeah.
Jason X is 2001
Yeah.
right.
and
This is 96.
96.
Yeah.
So the frustrating part is Jason X is a killer, and that's all he is a brutal murderer,
Right.
and that's it. The Leprechaun goes after his gold, and it just blows my mind that they put him in space, made him an alien, and then didn't do any of the things that were Leprechaun-y about him.
Right, yeah.
No.
I mean, Jason, he goes to kill, but
Yeah,
even still, like,
he's
why...
a silent killer.
I don't know, like, why
But
on a
deadly.
spaceship is... I don't know.
That makes me feel even more strongly about my theory about how this movie came to be, because there probably was some kind of alien entity that got on board the ship in whatever this guy's original script was,
Yeah.
and they just thought like, oh, that could just be the guy, that could just be Warwick Davis in his Leprechaun costume. Like, well,
We don't need to buy
he'll
his
say a
costume.
few things. Will he rhyme in this one? Nah, he doesn't really need to rhyme. Like,
Wow.
He doesn't have to be the Leprechaun.
Yeah. So
it could have been anything.
why is Princess Death Tits in it? So that's just like that's one of those.
Because the guy wanted.
Sketch.
Tits.
Yeah. This is one-
He was horny. I didn't want to say that, but yes.
Well, yeah, certainly. Yeah, it's like kind of a. Hey, you want to be in my movie? We'll write you something in there. Yeah. Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That,
And
with
the-
both girls.
Jason X at least had the funny scene at the end where they were pretending he was putting
Camp
put him
Crystal
back
Lake
in Camp
thing.
Crystal
Yeah,
Lake.
yeah. I mean, that's.
I mean,
That's great,
that was
yeah.
the one redeeming moment of that movie for me. But
Was
I
the
mean,
hol-
essentially the rest,
Was it the
basically
holodeck?
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
the holodeck scene.
that was the only good scene.
You have
for
to
me.
watch
the rest
that
of it
again at
seemed
some
almost
point.
exactly the same.
We
to
have
me.
a Friday the 13th
I wanna do
and
that.
Friday, so we should.
I don't know if I've ever watched that one all the way through either yet. So
Jason X.
yeah. I remember the holodeck thing, and you reminded me of like my favorite thing from it was like one of the ballsiest things ever. That line.
Yeah. He's like,
It'll take more of that can kill me. That'll do it. Yeah. Just,
stab.
Yeah.
That'll do it. Yeah. And the surfing the body into the atmosphere at the end. There you go.
I don't remember that. I guess-
The guy the surly black guy surfs Jason into the atmosphere. Like-
Did you say
a fucking-
surfs like using it as a surfboard?
Yes,
Yeah.
using him as a surfboard.
We'll have to start with that one because we'll do
Yeah.
them in reverse chronological order.
Yeah. Well, we have to pick the key ones of that one too.
Yeah.
Like four key ones.
Yeah.
Um.
Might even skip the first one.
Yeah, because the first
Yeah.
one, yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
So rating, I gave it a 3. Keith.
it's around a 3, I guess.
Yeah, 3.
Wait.
A
I
gentleman.
gave the first one a 2.
And I'm,
This had more. This one really did have more going on in it, and that was the first one was so obviously written as a kids movie. There's the same kind of issues. Let's take a movie and turn it into something else without doing the work into actually.
Alright, I got no gripe. It's fine.
Yeah.
2.
Is there something lower than 0?
There were negative numbers, I think. I don't know, like they owe you something.
Like I guess I'll go 1, but like this really is on my like short list of like my least favorite movies.
I feel like
That's
this is
very
one of
interesting.
the like worst movies
Yeah,
made of all
especially
time.
with things that I've
Wow.
like, watched more than once.
It's real bad.
Because I've watched this
I
3
feel.
times
I-
now. It's not that good.
I feel like it was a chore to watch it. Like halfway through,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think we need to watch anymore. But now I feel like we need a fucking palate cleanser to.
You don't want to end on
I
this
don't want to end on this.
Okay, so we should watch Insidious then.
Part 2. I haven't seen that one yet.
Just skip the first one.
let's transition into WWE really quick. The origins with Hornswoggle.
Giant Royal
Now,
Rumble or what?
so
Great event.
the Leprechaun origins was hyped a lot by WWE, starring Hornswoggle, who plays in the WWE universe a leprechaun.
A very stereotypical
Yeah.
leprechaun.
Very much so.
Or rather, he had until he transit. By that point, he was probably just a
Yeah.
But he had a couple of years of
Yeah,
like
certainly.
leprechauning around.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we went into this movie expecting a harsh leprechaun, and we got this monstrous, no talking. We barely saw it.
So feral creature.
A
Then
feral
they were
creature.
Yeah.
they were doing the thing where you we were sparing it like
Yeah.
like
Oh,
hide them
don't
like
show it.
don't show the monster. Keep it all.
Yeah.
So I kept expecting the entire time, oh, monster, and then him to like pop out and then run around.
They did exactly the opposite of what the original
Yeah.
Leprechauns were. They tried to make it a straight up horror movie and failed
But
miserably.
why cast Hornswoggle in it if you're not going to have him be
Exactly.
a
And-
Hornswoggle character?
And why give it like the Leprechaun name
Yeah.
if Leprechaun fans are gonna want to see something
Right.
like the
Because
lyric singing,
Wisecracking or something.
wisecracking.
here's my guess: the license probably wasn't that expensive, and they looked at a spreadsheet and it said, if we put this name on it, it'll make this much more money.
Yeah.
Does that equal more money than it costs to acquire the license? If yes, then let's shoot this fucking thing.
Yeah.
so is there a wrestler
Don't you
in it or something?
just-
That's what
Yeah.
his Hornswoggle.
The world,
Yeah.
I know.
And
It's
he
just
He
like
plays
the way-
basically a monster, and you don't know you couldn't tell him from anybody else that would have played the
So
character.
here is his fucking photo that they have for him in the thing in the.
That's
Huh.
what he. Yeah.
This is
that's-
what
they-
that's
this is what they have
the-
as his IMDb photo.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's from like WWE stuff. isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, but I'm saying, you look at this. This is the IMDb page for Leprechaun Origins, and the first picture is a actual leprechaun. So you're
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. Well, sure, they're going to have a leprechaun in this. And then you're like, and this has got 3.3 out of 10 on IMDb.
It reminds me
We
of
all
Halloween.
underrated it,
It
apparently.
reminds me of Halloween 3, where you give it the Leprechaun name, and then you give them something
Yeah.
different than what people expect.
Although, admittedly, I think this was closer to. Well, who's to say? I mean, there was a leprechaun lore type creature in it that wasn't.
Right? Yeah. I
and
mean,
Halloween 3 was about Halloween in a way, but
yeah,
not
but
about Jason.
you know, people want to go and see Michael Myers.
Right.
But I mean, they got.
I said Jason. God damn it, Mike Myers.
So
Yeah, Mike Myers.
God.
the 3 trivia things for Leprechaun Origins. Star Dylan Postal, Hornswoggle, stated that he had never seen any of the previous Leprechaun films,
Oh.
and has since chosen not to view any, as he wanted his performance to be his own creation, without the influence of the prior films.
Well,
That's a consummate professional.
yeah.
And it's also
Don't worry, Hornswoggle, you didn't come close.
he brought his own interpretation. They gave him all these limericks. He was like, I'm going to go a different way with it. I know this is in the script. I'm just going to go. Rah. Yeah.
He's gonna be. I'm gonna channel my friend Rey Mysterio.
But
So the line "fuck you, Lucky Charms" that is said by Sophie before she kills the leprechaun is the same line that was said by Alex in the original Leprechaun.
was that in there?
Oh,
I didn't even.
I don't remember that.
You know what's funny? Because when he said it at the end of the movie earlier tonight, I thought like, oh, yeah, that's right. But I think I was actually remembering it from the remake.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
That's probably the one you saw more recently.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
The only film in the series not to star Warwick Davis in the title role. He says he had no clue why they didn't ask him to play the part because he would have loved to do it.
Did he not see the movie? He probably
Yeah.
would have had his answer if he saw
Yeah.
the movie they were making.
Looking back, he's like, whoo, dodged the bullet there.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So
J.K. Rowling, you got any other shit for me to do?
Yeah. J.K. Rowling, George Lucas.
Yeah.
I mean, that's his like moneymakers.
Yeah.
So
I wish I had those kinds of problems.
Yeah.
So I'm giving this one a 2. This one totally missed its calling. They should have let Hornswoggle be let Dylan be Hornswoggle in this movie and let him be a horror slasher character. Let him become Warwick Davis's like next of kin or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, Inappropriate is a Leprechaun movie, but I might even go as high as a 3 because I vaguely recall liking the setup of just what like the lore of the village or wherever they were and the kids coming in and
It was a bunch of American kids like on vacation.
And
They were in
Ireland,
Ireland, right?
in Ireland.
yeah, I liked the framework of where they were going with it and the setup for it, and then it just kind of got into that. So
I don't recall a whole lot from that movie, but I would say 2 or 3 probably. I don't know. Whatever. It was what it was.
I have like for some reason my memory is that it was fairly well made.
Mm-hmm. There were things about it,
And going into it, I had already been disabused of the notion that we were going to get anything like the Warwick Davis Leprechaun movies. Like,
You just have to think of it as its own thing and not a Leprechaun movie.
I'd seen the trailers because they played them like crazy on WWE television and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'd say just trying to put myself back in that place. I'd say like 5.
yeah.
Fair. It was fine. I never need to see it again.
I do not need to see it again. I will not watch it again.
They should have had, if Warwick Davis wanted to do it, they should have had Warwick Davis like handing the torch over to Hornswoggle.
Yeah, and have him be
he's like, here,
actual Hornswoggle.
I'm 1,000 years old now. I don't want to do this shit anymore. I've got plenty of gold.
Or
Here,
have him
it's
be
your turn.
a kid or a nephew or something, or an asexually divided cell where he just like splits in half and there's Hornswoggle. It doesn't matter anything.
Leprechauns don't work that way, Marianne.
They don't have females though either, so how will they reproduce?
That's true.
That's a good point.
True.
Nope, it's science. It can't work that way. They can live in space as aliens, but
Shh. Okay. We might be back. We might not be back. We need to discuss.
ever.
Bye, guys. Welcome to Marianne's Macabre Movie Review. This is the final installment of our Leprechaun movie marathon. We are in Leprechaun in the Hood. I hate to say this, but this was the most enjoyable, and I'm sad we saved it for the last. But no, it actually was a good palate cleanser after the abomination of
Space.
Yeah.
So,
I would-
go ahead, Keith.
I was just going to say that I don't think this is by any means a great movie.
No.
I think that watching it right after Space, it's like you watch like Citizen Kane or something. The acting was pretty natural, I think, throughout. I mean, it was the most awkward thing, of course, was the Asian restaurant owner or whoever it was.
No, like yeah.
Pawn shop. Yeah, just it was.
That was rough. That was forced writing. I did find Postmaster P, I believe, to be a little wooden at the beginning, where he was where he was making his big speech and about how we shouldn't be doing certain things, and then and that was rough. But then after that, it seemed pretty natural. I mean, even
This one,
That's what I was gonna say.
like
Yeah.
after watching Space and going back to this one felt more like a Leprechaun movie.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
Definitely.
That's definitely
it goes back to him talking in rhymes, him being the leprechaun, him being silly. He comes into the hood and he's smoking
Just-
weed and doing just
fucking shit up.
yeah. So I mean, it just felt like a Leprechaun movie, whereas the last one did not.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, Ice-T had a fairly large role in, as it turned out, and
He did.
it seemed like he was actually lighter in the Leprechaun than usual in certain ways. Like he
Yeah,
wasn't
there
in
were-
it didn't feel like he was in it as much.
Yeah,
as,
I was thinking that too. Like points in that you get a good dose of him in the beginning, but then in the middle, you get a lot less of him.
Of the Leprechaun or Ice-T?
Leprechaun.
Oh, the Leprechaun, yeah. Yeah, a lot of it is the rap guys trying to figure out
Make
ways
it
to
big.
try to make it big while simultaneously getting away from the Leprechaun and away from Ice-T.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
The thing I was going to observe is at least it seemed like somebody had an idea for a Leprechaun movie and had a story and a plot that they just, this is how it's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And they did it.
Yeah.
By contrast, of course.
Yeah.
Space,
So-
whereas we're like, there's this other thing we just kind of threw together.
I'd like to liken this to Twilight Creations
Hmm.
board game company. They had a base game called Zombies, and then they would pick it up and be like, okay, now we have zombies in a graveyard. Now we have zombies in the forest. Now we have zombies in a mall. Now we have zombies at school. Now we have zombies in the office. Now we have zombies after the apocalypse. Now we have zombies in the desert. So it's like you have things, and I feel like this felt like, okay, now we have Leprechaun. Now we have Leprechaun in Vegas. Now we have Leprechaun in space, which failed miserably. Now we have Leprechaun in the hood.
Are you saying, I'm just, since you mentioned Twilight, are you saying that those are positive things that they were doing?
Yeah,
or?
definitely.
Okay.
I mean, they're very successful.
Okay.
I mean, don't you? I mean,
No, I that's
What-
fine. It was hard to tell by your tone whether you thought it was a positive thing that they were giving all these different installments in these different
no,
places.
they're very successful.
Or-
And so that's what I'm saying is they successfully do it. And I think the key to successfully doing a Leprechaun movie is to keep the Leprechaun story and characters and just move it to a different location.
Mm-hmm.
Leprechaun
And-
in New York, Leprechaun in the office, Leprechaun in the
Yeah,
desert.
and that way you can at least, if you haven't seen any of the other Leprechaun movies, you don't necessarily have to
Yeah.
have seen them. They're all standalone movies.
Standalone movies.
Yeah.
Especially since they end up contradicting each other because of the timelines and stuff.
Yeah.
Right,
The
right.
timelines,
Yeah.
the shamrocks.
Yeah, and like with a lot of his powers and stuff like
Right.
that, because sometimes it's just
He can
it just
teleport.
feels like it's whenever the script demands that he is
Yeah.
able to do something, he can, and other
Right.
times he can't. Like
Mhm.
you saw him like in space, like he didn't really use his powers too much. He was like shooting guns at people.
Well, that
And
wasn't
then-
him either, so.
Right? Yeah.
probably written, isn't it?
And then he's in the first one, he's able to like teleport in and out of cupboards and stuff like that. And in this one, they try, and he was
trapped
able
him in
to
a-
trapped by the 4-leaf clover.
Mhm.
In this one, they successfully like trapped him into a safe, and he couldn't get out.
But he could summon.
But he could summon his fly girl zombies
Yeah.
to come get him out.
Oh my goodness.
So there's there's a lot of like
And there's an evil flute in this too.
yeah there's no other mention of the flute in any of the other ones.
So here's something I just noticed. The first line. Now we've heard the first line before, and I think I've never understood it because it says, "Death to he who sets the leprechaun free. Steal his gold; it will corrupt your soul. You see, for many a moon the legend has grown. Death toll increases, solution unknown. Beware the evil wanderer in search of his loot, lest you suffer the wrath of his golden flute.
Huh?
Flee while you can.
Yeah, that was this movie.
The future's not good. No one is safe for. No one is safe from the lep in the hood.
Yeah.
Okay, no, when you prefaced it, I thought you were saying that like the beginning of like most of the other movies
No,
too.
this
These
is the first line.
yeah.
First line for Leprechaun in the Hood.
Yeah.
So, what did we like? What did we not like?
As I said, the characters, the supporting characters, the victims, seemed natural and likable to some extent.
To a point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like they were going for a cohesive story, as distracted as I ended up being anyway, but still.
Postmaster P.
Yes.
Because he delivers a positive message.
That was cute.
But that's the thing I didn't like about his characters. He kind of didn't maintain that
Exactly.
through. Like,
That's took a point down for me because, or a half point down because
There's peer pressure.
he killed his other friends, or his friends got killed because of him, because he wanted to make it big.
right.
And then he's like standing on got corrupted by the leprechaun at the end.
Okay, well, power,
Power corrupts.
Yeah, that
absolutely.
happens. It's a down ending. That's fine.
No, it wasn't. We got a leprechaun rap at the end, so.
Yeah, that too. It was happy.
With some fly girl singing
Yeah.
in the hood.
I enjoyed that more than I should have.
No good.
It was a dreadful rap, so.
Yeah,
But
I liked the girls at least.
Sure.
I still like Warwick Davis rapping. So.
Oh yeah, I like the Ice-T character. You could just tell he has a knack for acting, and he has a screen presence, but you could tell he just has a natural presence and charisma on the screen, and even though this is one of his earlier acting gigs, even before what was he on, Special Victims Unit?
Yeah.
Eventually, yes.
Yeah.
He's in 89 things.
Wow.
Gosh, how far does this go back?
Man.
He was in Fame. Fame. I'm gonna live
The
forever.
TV show?
I'm gonna
Oh,
learn
Christ,
how
of
to
course,
fly high.
New Jack City. I don't know why I thought of that. Didn't think of that.
New Jack
Breaking
City,
to
yeah.
Electric Boogaloo.
Huh.
He was in that.
So it's not that early on. Yeah, New Jack City. I forgot about that.
That was in 1984.
Yeah.
New Jack City was?
No. Breaking to Electric
Oh, okay.
Ricochet, 1991. New Jack City, 1991. This is probably when he's beginning to really make it big, especially with SVU.
Yes.
Yeah.
Detective Tutuola.
Mainstream.
Yeah, Ice-T was good. What else did we like or not like?
I like the rapping.
Did you really?
Yeah, I liked all the beats of the rap songs. I actually understood the storyline for once.
Yeah, that was a big positive for me too. It's like I can follow this storyline. Dave?
I kind of did like that they had the kind of two separate storylines going where they were trying to avoid Ice-T and the Leprechaun. Because that just feels like they're in supernatural danger and real life danger.
Clear and present danger.
Yeah. So, they kind of, I don't know that they ever came across as they were as terrified as they really should have been. But, with all that coming down on them, you feel like you couldn't even sleep without fearing something. But I did feel like that kind of brought a different element into it that I liked.
I feel like the Leprechaun in this one wasn't as, I don't know. Like, you weren't scared in the other films, but I feel like in this film, he wasn't, there to really, scare you or anything like that. And
Like,
it
it wasn't in as much.
Yeah,
it wasn't as gory.
They took his finger off. He shot through some people's stomach with magic leprechaun
Oh,
bullets.
yeah.
You know what it is?
It's
It's
through the whole.
Yeah.
For comedy relief.
Yeah.
he was scary in the way that a gangster would be in a movie like this.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. It was at the level of that. It wasn't sort of like this boogeyman presence that's going to jump out and scare you. It's just he's relentlessly coming after you.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So, I agree with all the statements everyone else has said. Do we want to do a scare or gore rating on this one?
Meh. I mean,
let's just.
It wasn't. Yeah, this one wasn't even.
It had some
too
stuff in
gory.
it, but
He did take another eye in this, or no, someone took his eye in this one.
Yeah.
So we were missing that in the space one too.
I would say this is probably, if you're to Leprechaun in the Hood, you already know what you're getting into for horror and gore factor.
Yeah.
You're going to expect an eye to come out. You're going to expect something like this. So So, Amanda, don't watch it, is what we're saying.
If you're listening, which I'm surprised if you are.
She does. She listens.
Okay.
She says she listens to everything once. She just has to listen during the day, though, because she listens at night because she gets scared.
Don't be scared, Amanda.
Yeah. Let's do a regular entertainment value rating. Dave, why don't you start this time?
I'd give it a 6. I liked it. I thought it was fun. It went back to what the Leprechaun movies kind of established themselves as, and I had a good time with it. It was fun. Liked it. I give it a 6.
Yeah, I'd probably give it a 7. I liked it a lot as well. I like the fact that I can actually understand the storyline in this one and I can follow along.
You didn't get bored with it?
No, I actually didn't. It was actually very entertaining and I enjoyed it.
Well, I'm probably around a 5 or 6 at this point. I think I was a little burnt out from like all the others before this. Yeah, if we had we needed the other ones to establish a type of character for him, so I had something to compare it against. But at the same time, I was just worn out, and I already started drinking scotch because of that last one, and so. Yeah, it was hard for me to focus on certain things, but I could certainly tell objectively that it was a more cohesive film than the last couple.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give this a 6. To give you an example of other things that I've rated 6s, Ghost House, 2017's Ghost House, Behind the Mask, Rise of Leslie Vernon.
Oh, Jesus.
Mama.
That's
you
so...
liked or disliked that one, Keith?
He loves that one. That's his most favorite.
Behind the Mask is so much better than
Leprechaun
this.
in the Hood.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you, Keith.
Behind the Mask, I don't know if I've seen that.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. So, The Rise of Leslie Vernon, it's a mockumentary. Taking, like, this guy is trying to become a serial killer. Or not a serial killer, he's more of a slasher.
Yeah,
supernatural. He's like a Jason or a Michael Myers.
Michael.
I corrected myself for Keith.
Mike Myers.
Yes.
Michael, quote, Mike Myers.
Yes. And he's taking this film crew through what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Like his thought process of what...
Do you have it?
I don't have it, no. Okay. I've seen it, but...
We have it.
Yeah.
We need to lend you that and Insidious. So
yes. Yeah.
We'll just give you the set.
Yeah.
And Angela can watch Behind the Mask.
Yeah.
And then you guys can listen to the podcast about it, because we did one with Amanda, our fraidy cat, and John DeQuilla. I don't know if you've met him through maybe some of the outings we've had, but he's another really very insightful person to have it for horror movies.
Yeah.
So that's our rating. Keith and I will come back in a little bit with stuff we want to promote for Mad Lab and It's All Been Done Presents.
I suppose that's fair.
I also like that we got to see Coolio in this film.
Oh yes, don't forget.
Several times.
Coolio was like in every scene.
He was at church.
That's an inside joke for all you guys on the Patreon subscribers. So, if you want to hear more about that inside joke, subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/IABD. Thanks.